All right, what is going on, everyone? We have my main man, Keith, here. Keith is actually one of the earlier students who was a part of First Class Setter. So Keith is doing, amazing. He's crushing it now. Keith, if you want to go ahead, just give yourself like a little bit of an introduction, who you are, what you have going on, and yeah, man, we'll go from there.
I'm Keith, and I'm actually very stoked to be having this interview right now, and stoked to share my success through the First Class Setter program. This is actually like my second job at the moment, and it's nice that I can um, kind of have more than one income coming in right now, which is great.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. And tell people like what is it that you even do, like your first main source of income, because I think it's a pretty interesting. I think a lot of people will kind of be a little surprised by that, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually an overseas athlete. So I play basketball in Southeast Asia right now. And, when I'm not on the court, I do have a lot of free time to myself, especially being away from home, being away from family. So I figuring out ways to maximize my time. And honestly, working with an online coach as one of their appointment setters is a great way for me to learn some new skills and also gain a little extra cash along the way.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things that I want to get into at the end here is like the skill development for sure. Because I think, especially with the person you're partnered up with right now, there's just a lot for you to grasp. It's very clear as to like what you have to do if you want to make money online later on, right? If you want to build your own business. And yeah, man, I think like I see you also on Instagram kind of putting out your own content. So like that is not unfamiliar anymore. It's just a matter of putting like the pieces together because you're seeing it firsthand, right? You have the front row seat. So yeah, man, tell me like we can go ahead and just kind of start from when you got started on this role. Obviously, we helped place you inside of the role that you're in right now. And yeah, what was that experience like? How fast were you able to pick up the skill?
Yeah, when we first got started, I think it was in you and I started working together in November, I believe, maybe
Hmm.
December, and
December. Yeah.
yeah, December. I went through just one max 2 weeks of going through your course, communicating with you, having one-on-ones with you, trying to develop the skills and understand what to do as an appointment setter. And then you actually first placed me into a role later that December. And we tried that through maybe the beginning of January. It wasn't quite the best fit, but it was okay. I was confident moving forward and hopefully finding a new coach. Um, and you ended up placing me with Coach Nick now, and honestly, it's literally a perfect fit. His niche is sport coaches, and that's like right up my alley. So it's literally just like a perfect match, and very confident in what we're doing right now. And I want to help him grow, and he wants to help me grow as well.
Yeah, I think that is probably the epitome and a really big piece as to why you guys were able to have very quick success, right? So, I think if I want to say when we first plugged you in, Nick, who has that sports coaching offer, I believe he was doing around like 25,000 a month. And that same month that you got in there, he managed to be able to make his first record month. I believe that was 50,000 in a single month. What did that transpire for you? In terms of how much commissions you were able to make.
Um, yeah, it definitely speaks volumes to, I mean, to like both of us, right? So, he onboarded me the end of January, the last week of January. I actually got my first bookings in that last week of January. He happened to close, so I closed one for that counted for January. So it was actually probably a little more for like if you want to count February. We counted as January 31st, and then February came in, and we definitely hit a record month for him. And I feel accomplished that I was able to be a part of that. He definitely a lot of the credit to him. He's an amazing coach, putting in a lot of the work. Um, but it's nice for him to share to me that he doesn't think he would have hit 50K that month if I wasn't there helping him, because he wouldn't have reached as many people without having a setter on his team.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%, man. I think it goes super unnoticed as to the impact that somebody in the DMs can actually have. In terms of like the actual tangible money that you were able to make that like record month, what was that for you? That was 3K, like right up the alley?
3150 for February and another 300 in January. Just that one close day in January.
Yeah, we're gonna count it just for the sake of the thumbnail. But nonetheless, man, I think that's awesome. I mean, yeah, how do you feel right now, man? Now that you have like something else to develop a skill, you have more cash to stack on top of your main source of income right now. What are you feeling? What do you think are your next steps? I don't think you're gonna go down from here, if that sounds, correct. But what do you think?
I don't think we're gonna go down either. I think we made some adjustments with like advertising, which is why it's a little slower towards the end of February. So that counting January, my commission at 3450, that was all made in 2.5 weeks, actually. So it wasn't even the full month, and February is a shorter month, anyways.
Yeah.
Um, so it just started picking up again, changing our advertising, and I'm very confident that I think that's like a baseline now. I don't even think it'll be lower than that by the rate that we're going.
Yeah.
Especially if he's pushing 50K a month right now, with me in addition to his team. I can only see it expanding, and we're increasing the ad spend and increasing the volume of DMing on my end.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I think, yeah, like I mentioned, I don't think you guys are going to slow down anytime soon, to be honest. And I think the future is bright for you in terms of where everything goes from now, right? This is something that I preach very heavily inside of just these YouTube videos that I make and stuff where, the money is nice. Appointment setting is very cool for that. But what do you feel like you're gaining that is much more valuable than the 3,400 that you were able to bring in? What do you think is transpiring there?
I think two things personally. I think the first one is having a new skill set, right? And it's not only just messaging people, but with messaging people comes like the psychology aspect of it, learning the sales, um, learning the business from a different standpoint, other than just trying to book a call. Um, and the second big thing that I'm realizing is the relationship with an online coach or another business entrepreneur. Having that relationship developing and growing with somebody, um, that is also like an amazing connection, that's definitely gonna bring you some fruits moving forward.
Right. And I've said this before, I will continue to say this forever, and I think you kind of understand this now, especially, I guess, in this online business space, right, that we're talking about, where your network really is your net worth, right? Because you can stop appointment setting tomorrow, right? Just hypothetically speaking, and you will find a way to maneuver your way into the online business space, whether that's through appointment setting or through anything else, simply because you have that connection and you've built that relationship. And you know what I mean? And sure, it's like a little bit of a weird perspective to look at it, but ultimately that's the truth. It's like you just will never go lower than that baseline that you've set now. It's just a matter of going up and up and yeah, continuing to push forward, I guess, with what you have, in the skill set now. Let me ask you this, man. So one of the most important things that I remember from when we first onboarded you was the fact that you had gone through the trial and errors. You've gone through, I'm not sure if it was SMMA, but I do remember the drop shipping. What do you think is like the realization I think that you've came to trying those other different models versus kind of starting at step one?
Um, so comparing like other side hustles to what I'm doing now is what you're
Yeah,
asking.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I think everything is a skill. I think everything works, but for some people, those
Mhm.
things just didn't work out for me. Those are still a learning experience. However, what I like about appointment setting is that you are not alone. You like develop a team right away, and you are working with people and individuals rather than just trying to learn something on your own. Um, and appointment setting works for me too because it's like the coach that I work for is in a different country, right?
Mhm.
I'm I'm a U.S. citizen, but right now I'm living overseas, and we have a huge time zone change. It's 15 hours difference. But even with that big time change, I'm still able to work with someone and communicate with someone in real time, and talk with people too. So it's not just me zoning in on a computer by myself, and I like interacting.
Yeah. Nice. That's a good one that I don't think a lot of people talk enough about. Is like the entrepreneurial journey, whether you're getting started with, SMMA, drop shipping or whatever, you're on your own until you like get your first client or even with drop shipping, right? With drop shipping, you're never talking to anybody. So I can imagine how that, is a little bit different than this. Let me ask you this, man. Like, what are your future plans in terms of, we can talk a little bit more of a longer time horizon here, like 12 months down the line, 6 months, however long that you kind of want to shoot for. But tell me like some goals or just things that you want to kind of be able to accomplish because you got into appointment setting.
Yeah. So I would say in the next, year or even two, like I'm still signed on contract to be a basketball player overseas, actually.
Mhm.
So that is still like my priority main job in this short-ish, long-term-ish side of things. But I do see myself working as an appointment setter probably the whole time, to be honest. And probably with Nick, I think the way that we talk about developing and growing the business, he's not only another valuable thing is that he's not only like, it's not a boss to employer relationship. It's not just like, all right, here's the work I need you to do, go do the work. It's not like that at all. We meet more than once every week, and we actually have like sales meetings, and then he gives me other personal trainings literally about his online business. I even have access to his course as well, so I'm not just learning my end of the stick, I'm also learning the business side of things. He shows me the back end, he's super transparent. And I think that as we grow, I think that there's a possibility that he might even want me to step into a larger role in the company because right now our team is just composed of me and him. And he's teaching me everything else. I don't know the timeline of that, but that's where I see myself at least the next year, continuing to work with him and just leveling his business up. Because just in 1 month, like I've already seen the jump in the KPI difference of having two people work instead of just him alone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. It's funny, man. It sounds super similar to the situation that I kind of was going under when I was a DM setter, like full time. I mean, it was the same thing. It was just me and him. I was learning so many things about business that like it's just it becomes undeniable where you become so much more valuable and you have so many more opportunities to do things with, anything outside of appointment setting or building your own business or leveling up like you're talking about into a different role. You can get into sales. And so this is kind of the point that I like to draw to everybody. Like, the money is cool. It's very quick. It can come very fast as well. But it's what it does for you in terms of like, thinking in terms of year intervals, right? Like 3 years out, 2 years out, even a year out. Like it happened to me, it can happen to you, and it's going to happen to you. I already see it. Um, yeah, man. In terms of like the difficulty level of picking up, like how to actually send DMs and appointment set, what would you say that's on a scale from like 1 to 10? What do you think that is?
For me right now, um, like one being super easy, 10 being super difficult,
Yeah.
dude, it's like a two. Um, I think for starting in December, uh, I thought it was gonna be like a two, but it happened to be like a eight. of
Yeah.
difficulty, but that was also because of the offer that I was working for. I think it was it just the niche wasn't just a good fit, and it's hard to communicate. Um, but now, like I think because the niche is literally right up my alley and something that I already deal with on a day to day, just obviously in a different setting. Um, I think that's why it's like it just happened so quickly for us to kind of explode and expand right away.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. I think that is the case for everybody, for a lot of people. I have a couple of other students inside of the first class at a program that kind of like for example, I like offered a potential role, and luckily enough, they said no because of the fit. Like it just didn't necessarily align too much. And that's super important, right? You have to really step into having full conviction that something works, right? So it helps a ton if you do that on a daily basis, or that's literally just your life. Like that's your first full-time income. So yeah, really glad to hear that, man. Any last kind of comments or anything that you want to throw out there for like just the experience that you went through about the program or just appointment setting in general?
Yeah, when I first signed up, I was hesitant. I didn't know if this was something for me. I've tried a lot of other like side hustles and side gigs, and I wasn't sure if this was going to work out for me. Even after getting my first placement, I still felt like I was very excited about the role, but I didn't feel like it was a good fit for me still.
Hmm.
I think what's very important is finding that coach and just being open and transparent if you actually want to work for them, because you have to talk with them just about every day. And you're not only communicating with them, you are, in a way, acting as if you are them. And I think finding the perfect fit is more important than, I guess, chasing the money at the start. Because if you find the perfect fit, it won't feel like a job. It'll feel natural. And so that's something that I've been enjoying.
Gotcha, dude. Awesome, Keith. Well, man, I appreciate you being on this call. I'm not gonna waste too much of your time or take any of your time. I know it's like really early for you, I think, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like I mentioned, I am honestly extremely proud of how far you've come, how persistent you have remained. And for anybody else watching, if you guys are interested in getting into remote DM setting, I highly recommend you do, because of the fact that there's just so many variables in terms of how easy it is. How well you can develop skills, how much you can get paid, how little time you have to invest. And Keith is literally living proof of that. So yeah, Keith, I appreciate you putting in the work that's necessary, bro. And I'm really excited to see what transpires, because I know it only starts with appointment setting. The next steps is whatever you make them, but it's very easy once you kind of get past that first hurdle, right? So yeah, man, I appreciate you being on this call, and yeah, we're excited to see you crush it. All right,
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to continue. Let's get it.
sounds good, man. Let's do it.